Well, his restaurant, Noma, in Copenhagen, was voted #3 in the world last year. At only 32 years old, the Danish chef Rene Redzepi designs modern Nordic dishes and is one of Europe's brightest culinary talents. Well, our food editor, Richard Vines, met him in Copenhagen.
Immediately after the award show, you realized that there was something special, you know, by the press coverage, the phone calls, everything. From there on, our restaurant really started to take off. That was like a turning point for our restaurant.
Traditionally, Copenhagen hasn't been a gourmet destination. What's changed, do you think?
Typically before, you know, a good restaurant had to have the obvious luxury ingredients such as the best truffles from France or Italy or wherever, and the best risotto rice. And now the focus has changed in the past 5 to 6 years here in Copenhagen. People are now finding their roots again, discovering nature, discovering the product range, the diversity. You know, it would be so much easier to make a pineapple dessert in February month. Look outside, it's snow, it's miserable, you know. But we have to work within our frame. And when you have made 3 desserts with apples and pears and regulars keep coming back, you have to do something new, and therefore you start working with potatoes and with carrots and so on and so on, for instance, within the dessert field. And therefore innovation increases within your frame.
And one of the things I find interesting is that a lot of the very good restaurants in London, for example, are based on French cuisine, very much so, and you're doing something different here.
Just look at it on a business level. Well, what makes sense? How do we attract diners to Copenhagen? By creating a French cuisine that you can get perhaps a touch better in France, or perhaps more than a touch better. Or do you try to work with your heritage and your diversity and try to express the region in a high gastronomy level? I mean, if you write a business plan, I know what would make sense, you know.
If you're in London and somebody said, why should I come to Noma? I mean, Copenhagen's a long way off and cold. What would you say? Why should people come?
Well, I mean, for people to come here, they really have to be interested in food, of course. I understand that. I understand that it's out of the way, you know. You can take the train to Paris or you can take the airplane to Copenhagen. I know what a lot of people would decide on. But people that are into food, I think they need to try this, you know. They need to see how we express our nature on a plate.
And Richard is back from Copenhagen in the studio with us now. Nothing stylish escapes your radar, Richard. I'm very jealous, actually, because I've been wanting to go to Noma. It's very unusual just because they use these locally produced and a lot of herbs, a lot of flowers grown from the region.
Yeah, it's a fabulous restaurant. I think traditionally, if people thought of going to Denmark to eat, you'd think you might go and have a, I don't know, bacon sandwich or some herring or something like that. But he's collected herbs and fish and meat and grain from around the whole Nordic region and creates new dishes with them. So there's a canapé, for example, where you get a porcelain egg with a miniature quail's egg pickled in...
Earth?
Sorry?
Earth? Something...
No, this is a different one. Well, there's also a flower pot where they've got miniature turnips and so on, and it's fantastic. You just pull them out. It appears to be earth, but luckily it's roasted nuts, so they taste okay. And there's a Danish open sandwich where the bread actually is chicken skin cooked crisp, and the bread is on top. So a lot of twists on traditional Nordic dishes. Fantastic.
Sounds amazing and very different, actually, from a lot of the 3 stars that we can have elsewhere in the world.
Definitely. The place is quite modest. It's in a former warehouse just by the water. It's absolutely beautiful. It's quite interesting. The Fat Duck is a former pub, and the El Bulli is a former miniature golf course. So some of these really fantastic restaurants aren't particularly fancy, and Noma isn't. It's very cosy with oak beams and candles and so on. Yeah,
focusing on the food rather than the surroundings.
Yes.
Richard, there are openings as well. Quite a lot of openings in the next couple of months. Anything that you're particularly excited about?
2 or 3 very interesting. One is Raymond Blanc is opening a brasserie on Threadneedle Street in London. It's just been announced. Will open on March 29th. Now, Raymond Blanc owns the Manoir, and the kind of publicity for line for this opening is that the Manoir is the waltz and the brasserie is the can-can. So it's quite good. The dishes, it's in the old Stock Exchange building. Dishes will be about £16 for mains. And for dinner, there will be a deal, £16, 2 courses, including a glass of wine.
Anything else? I mean, it does seem that actually if they're opening in the city of London, at least they're hopeful that it's going to start kicking up again.
I think more and more restaurants are coming into the city of London. Noma, the Italian restaurant just near the Bloomberg office, which is very popular with the city, is expanding by 40%. They're actually knocking down the front and extending out from there. So, I mean, that's a good sign. There's also an opening tomorrow. Mark Hicks, the chef, is opening in Selfridges. He's doing a so-called soft opening tomorrow. Soft opening means that the food should be probably half price, but I would check if I were going. I would check before you go. And Busaba Eatery, the Thai chain, is opening in Leicester Square on March 20th and near the city in May.
Now, Richard, you also digged out a very special Easter egg. It's it's not actually, it's creeping up on us, huh? It's in a couple of weeks, but this one's particularly attractive.
It's at Fortnum & Mason. It's designed by Lulu Guinness, based on their handbag, the birdcage handbag. Do you like handbags and chocolate yourself?
I do. Perfect combination. No? If you have to eat it, you don't have a handbag anymore.
Yeah, but the only thing is it's £125, which is a bit expensive.
Yeah, I wish we could see it, but we'll have to get you back on with the actual picture. Or you can bring me one. Richard, thank you so much.